새벽 3시에 일어나서 스크랩 2권 반쯤 하고 지금부터 아침 리딩 시간에 들어가겠습니다. 약 1시간 반 정도 읽어야 할 것 같은데 역시 책은 새벽에 읽는 게 제대로 왔습니다. The Marketing Gurus Lessons from the Best Marketing Books of All Time. When are you going to buy one? Doing work you love, discovering your purpose, and realizing your dreams. Expect a screener. This is the person or technology that keeps you from reaching the person you want to speak to. Origins of the Species, Myths and Misconception of the English Language. The evolution of design thinking, how to embrace complex change. Winning social acceptability. For this venture was the real challenge, one complicated by the fact that education is always minefield of vested interest. The Data Detective, 10 easy rules to make sense of statistics. But once both the journalist and the scientist have discovered something of interest, they want to give their audiences some pointers as to what it is. The same is true for charter designers. U.S. history. Forced state to redefine electoral district to match the population. Boundaries before marriage. If your feelings, time, opinion, or values are not being respected, you need to take some sort of action. Avoid retirement and stay alive. Take one R word out of your vocabulary and replace it with another, responsibility. The Maxwell Daily Reader. Rethink your strategy. 1001 Ways to Introduce Your Child to the Bible, and he will be called Wonderful Counselor, Wonderful Counselor, Mighty God, Everlasting, Everlasting Father, Prince of Peace, Wonderful Counselor. Unshakable. Do you talk nicely to yourself? Skin in the game. But when they have big bucks, they end up pressured to move into outsized, impersonal, and silent mansion far away from neighbors. American history. By the end of the decade, moviegoers got the full rainbow of film epics in the first major Technicolor movies, The Wizard of Oz and Gone with the Wind. God's Blueprint, life-changing sermon outlines. How did you feel when you gave something another person? Stepping up. Punch above your weight or formal position. Come up with ideas for new products and innovation, even if it's not in your job description. Performance coaching. To take an individual example, it is accepted that stress triggers hormones that can produce irrational behavior and physical symptoms as well. Stress trigger. Life for the span. The short answer is no. Mind. How the hidden rules of ownership control our lives. But the lie was effective. Magnificent mind at any age. Natural ways to unleash your brain's maximum potential. Why SPECT? SPECT. What brain spectator imagining can tell clinicians and patients. Why are psychiatrists the only physician who really look at the organ they treat? Sleep smarter. It's time to put all the excuses aside and give your body the sleep it requires to finally lose the weight and get the body and the health you truly deserve. Sleep deprived brain with less activity in the frontal and insular cortex. The 17 indispensable laws of teamwork Embrace them and empower your team. Besides all the normal strains, sprains, and bruises, in the past she had recovered from a torn stomach muscle and serious back injuries received in a fall on the uneven parallel bars. The sexual man. How do you spell trouble? Take a man whose sex drive is quite normal, and place him in a work setting where he is in close contact with women, men, sex, and the workplace. The art of using strategic persuasion to sell your ideas. Character is like a tree, and reputation like its shadow. The shadow is what you think of it. The tree is the real thing. Coaching successfully goals. Emphasize your intent to support the coachee in solving issues. The art of talking to anyone. It's been great getting to know you. The alter ego effect. Mitch and I met in 2011 at a small dinner in New York with 4 other people. Inspiration for the young at heart. It took a long time for her to get here, and I didn't even know I was missing her. Money Talks. How to make $1 million as a speaker. Their response is to hire marketers, subcontract the biddings, turn down engagement, and generally tear their hair and rend their garments. Outside the box. How globalization changed from moving stuff to spreading ideas. Across the Pacific, U.S. manufacturing output dropped noticeably for 6 months as Japanese companies lacking parts from Japan cut back production at their U.S. factories, depriving other forms of orders. Born Digital. Understanding the first generation of digital natives. We are not doing what we can, or even what we need to do, to teach digital natives to be media literate in this new, more complex information environment. To be media literate. Man of the Bible. The personnel manager thanked him for coming in and sent him away without any chance of getting a job. Why? Case interview. The secret. What is your dialect response agency? Managing your mouth. An owner's manual for your most important business asset, meeting behavior. Let's take a close look at meeting behavior and how you can profit by it. Practice the perfect. Having a system of recognition that extend to practice is especially important because the positive feedback can inform people on what to do during performance. Questions for greater interviews. Gaps on CVs and regions for living. You need to make sure you have all the details to decide whether these situations are a problem for you and your company. Thank God it's Monday. 52 weekly inspirational messages to blast away your Monday blues. Week number 33. Are you flunking out of life? One minute at the wellness, the natural health and happiness system that never fails. Are the medicines considered to be safe, such as over-the-counter cold and flu remedies, have been linked with strokes and colon problems? Soul communication, opening your spiritual channels for success and fulfillment. Again, the difficulty, the root of the issue lies with you. Awakening the slumbering spirit. Deepening your relationship also means paying attention to how you can express affection in more practical ways. The DNA of relationship is made a huge difference. It's made a huge difference. 5 stars. The communication secret to get from good to great. Jack had subsequently conducted several major studies on oxytocin and generosity, and he had begun to theorize about the kind of stories likely to produce the effect. 100 simple secrets of happy people. Let your goals guide you. What if instead you carefully followed a recipe, went to the store to buy just one you needed, putting in just the right amount of a perfect ingredient, and cooked it as instructed, then you'd wind up with exactly what you wanted. 365 Bible prayers for children. I want to follow you all through my life. The 3 hardest words in the world to get right. This is emphatically not a lazy moral relativism that indiscriminately affirms the truth of all cultures, or that celebrated every culture just because it's different. Relativism. Really. 5 seconds, the 5 second rule. Transform your life, work, and competence with everyday courage. I was also surprised to learn there are two kinds of procrastination: destructive, destructive, destructive procrastination, which is when you avoid tasks you need to complete. The productive procrastination, which is an important part of any creative process. Let's start with the good kind. The Jekyll and Hyde syndrome. What to do if someone in your life has a dual personality, or if you do. You must realize, however, that many Jekyll and Hydes, by the sheer nature of their personalities and their disturbance, are extremely manipulative. The raging 2020s. Russian President Putin remarked to a group of students, "Artificial intelligence is the future, not only of Russia, but of all mankind," and added that whoever becomes the leader in this sphere will become the ruler of the world. Daily readings from Become a Better You. 90 devotion for improving your life every day. Today is out to become a better you. I'm going to be content right where God has me today. Life coaching for dummies. Ways to overcome common obstacles to your progress. How to smell a rat. The 5 signs of financial fraud. Stock prices were imploding, and still could be bought for under 200, but by bidding what the stock was last sold for, Whitney breathed much needed competence onto the floor that day. Imploding. From stress to success in just 31 days. Drink lots of water. We may go without food for weeks, but our bodies demand water almost daily. The audacity of hope, centered on reclaiming the American dream. By the time the crisis was over, Indonesia's economy had contracted almost 14%. The longevity paradox. Wine, red, 6 ounces per day. 10 steps in writing the research paper include special advice on avoiding plagiarism. I realized too that some of these images can be found in primitive art, which is not radically distinct from language, which shows that the underlying concept of myth and art are similar because they both express the same subject matter, which changes but whose nature is the same. How doctors think. Just as a clinician needs to choose his words carefully in communicating with the patients, he must tailor the language of his request to a radiologist. Mistakes I made at work. How were you supposed to look for work or get a resume together when you had a few weekends or holidays off, little savings to lean back on, and were battered by exhaustion and terrified of your own shadow? 8,789 words of wisdom. Real progress occurs when the young feel it is time to change things. You are a badass. How to stop doubting your greatness and start living an awesome life. Once you bust yourself on the false reward you are getting from holding on to this behavior, you can see it for what it is, something that's not always in alignment with who you truly are and aspire to be, and release it when it's not working. Bust. How pleasure works. Even though you explicitly reject the religious belief, show signs of the transcendent impulse. Coaching, evoking excellence in others. The power of whisper. My kid took in all of this detail before Sonia continued. Battlefield of the mind. Now it's your turn to gain control over your mind and find the freedom and the peace. What everybody is saying. This automatic response help make the eyes a very honest part of our face. So let's examine some specific eye behaviors that can help us achieve insight into what people are thinking and how they intend to act. The mystery method. Over time, however, your dog will come to recognize that you are doing it. Teaching by principles, an interactive approach to language pedagogy. Even drills can be structured to provide a sense of authenticity. Back the elephant. Necessity department are crucial to the client's core business. Rise of the robot technology and the threat of a jobless future. The bottom line is that the top 5% is poised to increasingly look like a microcosm of the entire job market. It is at risk of itself being hollowed out. Your one word: yellow, joy, happiness, energy, sunshine, cheer. Real age. Are you as young as you can be? Then stretch. God has a plan for your life. Yet Chambers goes on to write, if things are dark to me, then I may be sure that is something I will not do. Everyday greatness. Despite the book's public acclaim, it did not turn into the immediate financial success that Dee had hoped for because of the quality production he demanded and the low price he placed on the book. 50 Success Classics. Winners are not afraid of intimacy and can be the most spontaneous person in a group because they are not set in their ways. Extreme ownership. Definitely not as much as we thought that we would. Take the stairs, 7 steps to achieving true success. A true champion has character and class regardless of circumstances. Inspire action. You may also fear the fact that presentation delivery can be undone. It's live and it's final. gradual deterioration of brain tissue in middle age, shortened life expectancy. The checklist, the manifesto. The pilot flying can be distracted by flight task and liable to skip a checklist. Civility in America. For example, if we worked as a team on establishing a strategy, it was imperative they communicated the strategy as the one developed by the team and not Cindy wants us to do the X. Stop acting rich and start living like a real millionaire. The price equals quality assumption has been squashed many times. The love you deserve, a spiritual guide to genuine love. This equal sharing of the burden resolves these needs into joint choices that empower both partners. Marketing. Moving from traditional to digital. Patagonia is honest and competent enough to show that its bidding processes are not perfect and still in fact harm the environment. The psychology of money, and indeed you should. 9 minutes on Monday. There has been much debate about why people fail to help others in such a situation, but through continued research, some interesting patterns have begun to emerge. The difference, how anyone can prosper in even the toughest times, how 5,000 plus people went from zero to the wealth. Mutual fund investors, particularly those schooled by Morningstar and its style boxes, know that you don't compare apples and the oranges. Competent timeless the fashion to take you anywhere. Timeless. What doctors don't tell you, according to autopsy report, a third of men in the European community have prostate cancer, but only 1% die of it. I love female orgasm. This discovery was quite possible the best thing to happen to me that year. The personal MBA. master the art of business. The best way to eliminate the bystander apathy in project management is to ensure that all tasks have a single, clear owners and deadlines. Talk Incorporated, walking the talk, walking the talk. Blind spot, why we fail to do what's right and what to do about it. Organizational and governmental leaders have a responsibility to analyze how employees and citizens are likely to respond to proposed incentive system. The storyteller's secret, but we needed the medicine by tomorrow morning at 7 a.m., the woman said. The most important thing, uncommon sense for the thoughtful investor. The investment world is not an orderly and logical place where the future can be predicted and specific action always produce specific result. The art of talking to anyone, you say. Our children attend the local school together. What about you? What do they teach you at Harvard Business School? Success is not an accident. Quickly boost your natural energy levels. Clarify your most significant goals. On more stressless, how to attract wealth using the secret science of getting rich. Sometimes getting the money to come to you is as much about what you are not doing as what you are doing. Get to know what an NFT is and what it isn't. Click the Events tab to view the event logs created by our contract. Morning edition, mastering reading and language skill with the newspaper. Working with idioms and expression at the pickup, at the highest point of. Why we sleep. A neuroscientist show how a good night shut-eye can make us cleverer, more attractive, slimmer, happier, healthier, and ward off cancer. Ward off the cancer. Prisoners of Geography, 10 maps that explain everything about the world. By the time they took the Okinawa, which sits in the Ryukyu Island chain between Taiwan and Japan, they were faced with a still fanatical enemy prepared to defend the approaches and for main islands from amphibious invasion. Fanatical. intelligence, the creative response to now, and the whole effort if education is right, if it is education and not miseducation, will be to throw the child again and again back to his own intelligence so that he can function, so that he can use it. Miseducation. 100 simple secrets of happy people. For a thousand generation, the Gwinchis G tribe lived in northern Alaska in nearly complete isolation from outside cultures. Success at 101, grounding the plains coast. Leah a lot of money. Startup communities. We look at Stanford, Berkeley, Harvard, the University of Michigan, and the University of Washington. The formula to achieve bigger goals through accelerating teamwork, personal competence, comes from making progress toward goals that are far bigger than your present capabilities. Med school confidential. Medicine is learned by the bedside and not in the classroom. Life on the voice. Bedside. Elite the minds. How winners think differently to create a competitive edge and maximize success. The same is true for almost everything in life. Be happy while you are. Be happy. Be happy while you are alive. Korean cuisine, healthy food full of flavor. Turn down the heat and cook until very soft. Set aside. The lifetime reading plan. Absorb him slowly over a long period. How to create a culture of excellence, designing high-performance jobs. A commitment to promote from within is meaningless unless the company offers training and development that can prepare employees for new jobs in the company and create conditions that encourage employees to enroll rather than penalize them for taking time away from their jobs. Work, a deep history from the Stone Age to the age of robot. The appeal of this tale of Enlightenment collaboration stemmed principally from the fact that the publication of Wealth of Nations in 1776 not only coincided with the United States wresting its independence from the British Crown, but also because it could be read as a velvet gloved critics of the tariffs, taxes, and custom duties that inspired North American colonists to cast off the shackles of British imperial rule in the first place. The resilience factor. 7 keys to finding your inner strength and overcoming life's hurdles. But they've taken comfort in a false calm, a false sense of mastery, and a mistaken, inaccurate belief. The ultimate happiness prescription. 7 keys to joy and enlightenment. If your life is trapped in the passage of time, your body will also be trapped. How to raise an adult. Break free of the overparenting trap and prepare your kid for success. First, a poor dialogue. How was school today? The 6 most important decisions you'll ever make. You can pick up an STD from oral sex. Currency trading. The key is to develop your own approach based on your particular circumstances. Time frame, risk appetite, discipline. Greater application for bidding school. Find out what admissions officers at top schools look for. Through Tango, I learned to work with and respond spontaneously to various partners and have applied this in professional setting as well. Social studies. Over the years, more people from other countries moved to Brazil. Many hope to find work. Get off your butt. How to end self-sabotage and stand up for yourself. I couldn't argue with that. Reading people. Personal experience has taught us, however, that we can't always take people at face value. The positive shift. That's the type of happiness that money truly can buy. Winners always quit. First, you break down the chain of events that would lead to your firing. College souls, top top $10 bills and roses. They found a shoebox that contained a list of college students from a church, as well as envelopes, some leftover stamps, and a few brand new crisp $10 bills. Crisp. You are not listening. What you are missing and why it matters. You can choose quiet restaurants and silence your phone. Silence your phone and keep it out of sight. Why men don't listen and women can read maps. Why men don't have a clue and women always need more shoes. Of these, the researchers generally agreed it was likely that 10 to 20% of the twins who claimed to be heterosexual were probably homosexual, who were too deep inside the closet to admit it, were bisexuals who chose to describe themselves as heterosexual. While America aged, these are serious consequences and need attention, Webster warned. Boundaries of the potential. As unprecedented as this case was, even more remarkable was the fact that the patient was the very man who, more than 50 years earlier, had pioneered the heart surgery that saved his life, and the post-successful coronary bypass operation, and the post-surgery to transplant 4 organs, a heart, 2 kidneys, and a lung, from one donor to different recipients, and the list goes on. And the list goes on. Life that matters. The objective is to nurture individual relationships in the family. Creativity. Rules are there to be challenged. The thing is, you won't know until you try. Go on somewhere. Someone is waiting for you to see things from their point of view. The thing is, undaunted, daring to do what God called you to do. Fear frees you. Equipping 101. They will admit mistakes and see them as a part of the learning process. The miracles of your mind. Are you ready to unlock your true potential? I have talked to many people during the past 35 years. Their usual complaint is, I have said for weeks and months that I am wealthy, I am prosperous, and nothing has happened. I discovered that when they said, I'm prosperous, I'm wealthy, they felt that within that they were lying to themselves. The unconventional, reframing conversation, the hoop, the strap, and human performance. There are more than 100 fitness trackers on the market, and any one of them will do a decent job of tracking whether you reach 10,000 steps on a given day. Get motivated, overcome any obstacle, achieve any goal, and accelerate your success with motivational DNA. Enjoy them, affirm them, and build a friendship for the upcoming, potentially turbulent 10 years. Turbulent. Becoming. I had no conception of what saying yes to politics might mean for us later, once we'd added 2 children to the mix. Finding your own North Star, how to claim the life you are meant to live. I learned these steps intellectually when I was in my late 20s, but I didn't realize how terrifying it is to act on them until I actually did it. Deadlines and disruption. Of course, schools as small as Makerere or the journalism school, however good, can have only so much impact within a university of 270,000 degree-seeking students. Difficult conversation, how to discuss what matters most. For many people, realizing that they don't have to agree brings a sense of greater liberation, relief, and empowerment. best life begins each morning. Devotion to start every day of the year. The key to living your best life starts with how you approach every new day. You can't do anything about the past, and you don't know what the future holds. But when you wake up in the morning, you can make up your mind to do your best to enjoy your day. While success always starts with failure or debt, the figures are debatable, but the basic insight is not. It takes more fossil fuel to produce lamb in the UK than in New Zealand, which has a longer grassy season and more hydroelectric power, and this should be weighed against emission from transport. Debatable. Life strategies for teens. You can't rely on a great motivational speech now and then. The zigzag principle. The road to success is never a straight line. The goal setting strategy that will revolutionize your business and your life. And remember, cash alone is not the beacon worth the pursuing. The appearance intelligence, earn more, worry less, and live a happy and balanced life. These losses are a result of an external force, not of the individual use of dependencies. The science of mind. Here is yes, and here is yes, and here is no, and here is no. Why is this? The room where it happened, a White House memoir. Trump wished him good luck on the large anti-Maduro demonstration planned for later in the day, which Trump said were historic. Ask more. The power of a question to open doors, uncover solution, and spark change. Their curiosity roadmap reveals their interest in people, places, and ideas. We have a deal. How to negotiate with intelligence, flexibility, and power. The total value diagram above illustrates the point that a multi-issue deal should be viewed as one in which you are trying to unlock as much total value and opportunity as possible. Test yourself. Psychologists have developed an area of test to measure individual empathy and related qualities. Test yourself. Prayer. Dear Father, we praise you that we are called your children, and we thank you for saving us and for looking at us through the lens of Christ's righteousness instead of through our sin. Amen. Amen.